Hello, my name is Douglas Bloch. Welcome to the Depression Recovery Channel, where each week we talk about practical tools and coping strategies for healing from depression and anxiety. Today is Flashback Friday, a feature in which I republish one of my earlier videos you might not have seen that contains really important coping strategies that will help you attain a better mood. Now here's today's video. The title of my talk today is called The Number One Cause of Depression. Before I get into it, I know that I've been telling jokes at the beginning of my recent videos, so I wanted to say another one, and that's about the guru who went up to the hot dog salesman and said, "Make me one with everything." All right, so as I said, the title of today's video is The Number One Cause of Depression. I'm sure that many of you have tuned in because you're intrigued with my answer to this question, and I'll say at the beginning that according to most psychiatrists, the cause of depression is an imbalance in brain chemistry, specifically the neurotransmitter serotonin, which is thought to be too low. Now that's not fully accepted, but even if it were, what causes the imbalance of this brain chemistry? How can a person be okay one moment and depressed the next? And I think that the answer to this question can be seen in the refrain of a song that was very popular when I was growing up. Breaking is hard to do. A definite truth. And not only is it hard to do, but I believe it's the number one cause of depression based on my personal experience. And let me tell you why. I would say that in the 2 decades I've been running my depression support groups, at least 80% of the people who show up at my door have either had one, a divorce or going through a divorce, or a marital separation, or the breakup of a significant relationship. When you add to this the death of a parent or a child, or separation from a child, the numbers go even higher. Let me give you a few examples. I remember many years ago, a guy showed up in my group. He had been lying in his apartment, virtually immobilized for 3 months. When the group members asked him what was going on, I mean, couldn't you even leave your apartment? He said, well, you see, what happened is my girlfriend left me. Then there's my own personal story, which I talk about in my video When Going Through Hell Don't Stop and Healing from Depression Naturally. In 1993, my wife and I separated. In 1996, we got a divorce. I started getting depressed right after the separation. By the time of the divorce, I ended up in the hospital not once, but 2 times. Then, of course, we recently did a video where a woman lost her father, ended up in the hospital 5 times in 8 months. And I'm going to be interviewing another client whose divorce led her into a deep depression. So the examples are just too countless to recount, and I'm sure that you've seen this in your own life. It seems that when we get separated or lose someone we love, it sends us into a dark depression. It makes us vulnerable for a depressive episode. Why are human beings so vulnerable to separation and loss? Well, I found the answer in a wonderful book written by 3 San Francisco psychiatrists called A General Theory of Love. And the book highlights something that many psychologists know, which is the importance of attachment and bonding between a mother and child in all mammals, including human beings. And they propose that when this attachment is broken or ruptured, the offspring, the child, descends into something called physiological despair. They recount an example where overnight a mother rat escaped from its cage, and when the experimenters came back the next morning, they found that the baby rats were super stressed out. They were in a state of what they called physiological chaos. Their heart rate was up, their heart rate was irregular, their stress hormones were up, their growth hormones were suppressed, etc., etc. They were a complete mess. And if this can happen between a simple rat and its children, what about human beings and their children? Now, I don't mean to put down rats. I know that some people have them as very good pets, but the point is well taken. In mammals, separation leads to chaos and despair. Finally, I say in my video how childhood trauma causes depression and anxiety in adults. If a person goes through childhood loss, such as death of a parent or divorce or emotional abandonment, this makes the person much more vulnerable to getting depressed as an adult if separation or loss of attachment occurs. So if this fits you, if you look back in your history and there has been loss, abandonment as a kid, you should really get into therapy and grieve those losses now, so that if you go through a separation later on or a breakup of a relationship, you won't have to be thrust into a depressive episode. I would like to end this video on a hopeful note. and that is, if the loss of love devastates, the presence of love can heal. And I first learned this from an amazing book I love to read, as you can tell. It's called Love and Survival, The Scientific Basis of the Healing Power of Intimacy, written by a cardiologist named Dean Ornish. And what he shows in this book is that love, connection, community, healing are the greatest healers, and that he recounts a study from a small town called Rosetto, Pennsylvania, at the turn of the century. It turned out that even though the people there, it was a steelworking community in Pennsylvania, and even though the residents had the same diet and exercise patterns as their neighbors, their incidence of heart disease was much lower. And when the researchers looked into this, they found out that the entire town came from the small town in Sicily, in Italy. And so they were all related. They lived together in extended families. They were close community. And this somehow, this connection, this intimacy, this love somehow protected them from heart disease that their neighbors suffered. Later on, when the community became fragmented and people separated and became isolated, it turned out that their incidence of heart disease, death from heart disease, rose to equal that of their neighbors. So clearly, the protective factor that had kept them healthy was love and connection. As a result of this study and others that were taken from around the world, Dean Ornish concludes regarding human connection. He says, "I am not aware of any other factor in medicine, not diet, not smoking, not exercise, not stress, not genetics, not drugs, not even surgery, that has a greater impact on our quality of life, incidence of illness, and premature death from all causes." Therefore, love really is essential for physical and emotional survival. If this is so, we would do well to put time and energy into our most important relations. This has been Douglas Bloch. I hope you found the information on this Flashback Friday video helpful. If so, please give it a like, as likes draw more and more people to this channel and hopefully some more subscribers. You can also leave your comments in the comments section or email me, douglasbloch@gmail.com. If you do want to subscribe to this channel, click on my photo in the closing credits. You'll be taken to my subscribe page. And if you click on the bell to the right, you'll be notified every time I do a new video or live chat. And if you want to contribute to this channel and become a patron, simply click on the Patreon image. You'll be taken to my crowdfunding site. And until next video, I wish you the best in your mental health recovery. Thank you so much.